A little more than 3 years ago, when I first started out in the gym, this is what I looked like. And this is what I look like now. As you can see, I made a huge difference. So here are 5 fitness rules I wish I knew before I spent years training the wrong way. Just before we get into it, this is going to be a quick video. Just before we get into it, I'll leave my Instagram in the description. Leave a comment or DM me coach on there and to have a chance to work one-on-one with me directly. Without further ado, let's get into it. Stick until the end because number 5 is by far the most important. First fitness rule is regarding your routine. What that means is a couple things. First off, you need to have a certain specific routine that applies to before you go to the gym. Let me clear this up. For example, for me, I have my pre-workout meal always now 45 to 30 minutes before my workout. And then I get ready, I get in my car, I make a quadruple espresso, and I drink it on the way to the gym. I have my music blasting, I'm ready, I'm pumped up to get in the gym. The first part of the routine is that, in the sense of have a specific ritual that you do before the gym to wire your brain and your body that, okay, it is time for the gym. Second tip regarding the routine that is actually super underrated is follow a specific routine in the sense that work out at the same time or around the same time every day. For example, for me, I work out at 11 a.m. every day. Before, I used to do up, down, and look, this isn't like I'm not saying that if you don't work out at the same time, then you're never going to build muscle. No, of course not. What's important is working out. That being said, though, when you work out at the same time consistently or around the same time, your body and your mind adapt. So when 11 a.m. hits, your body is going to tell you, okay, it's time for the gym. Or if you miss that window, then you're going to feel your body like acting a bit out of the ordinary. You're going to suddenly feel no energy. Your mood isn't going to be the best. That is because you disrupted your body's routine. So the first fitness rule that I'll tell you is pick a time, pick a routine that you can stick to, and always go at that time. And then the third part of the routine is pick a split that you can actually respect and be consistent with. It is by far, anyone who has been training for a while will tell you, it is by far more important to go 3 days a week, but do it consistently, rather than go 5 or 6 days a week to the gym, but be on and off, inconsistent with it. Consistency is what builds results. So again, pick a split that you can actually stick to. Decide what your split is. It can be push-pull legs, Arnold, whatever it is. It can be something custom, whatever you want it to be. You can also leave a comment or DM me on Instagram for my free training split blueprint. It'll be out by the time this video is out. So I'll be more than happy to give you that for free so that you can see what I think the best workout splits are depending on how many days you're training. 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yes, 6 is the max. You should not be training more than 6 days. Your body needs at least 1 rest day a week from lifting weights to actually recover. But yeah, pick a split that you can actually stick to, whether that's 3, 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it is, and just be consistent with it. But stop changing your routine and your split every other week. Consistency is what builds results. Second fitness rule is a clear goal. So clarity of goal. What that means is you need to have a clear goal when you start working out. I wish I did this when I first started out because it's very easy to say, yeah, I want to look good. I want to get in shape. But what does that actually mean for you? Because maybe we don't even have the same goals. Some people aim to be a bodybuilder. Some people's end goal is to look like Arnold, C-Bum, and whatnot. My goal, for example, is to look like Brad Pitt and Troy. That's that aesthetic, athletic, lean, masculine physique. So obviously you would be training a little bit differently depending on what your goal is. But the reason why it's super important for you to clarify your goal is because if you do not have one, it's like you're following a map with no destination. You're just going to get lost. You're just going to get confused. What that's going to do is it's going to result in lack of discipline, lack of consistency, and eventually you just giving up. So having a clear goal, what I mean by a clear goal is an actual measurable goal. For example, my goal is to look like Brad Pitt and Troy. I did my research and I found out that in that movie, Brad Pitt is 5'11". In that movie, he's around 10 to 12% body fat and he weighs around 180 pounds. I broke it down. Don't worry, I did the math so you don't have to. I did the math and he has 2.25 pounds of lean mass per inch of height. For example, for me, how that correlates is I am 5'7", so that's 67 inches. So I do 67 times 2.25, it's around 153, 154 of lean mass. I divide that by 0.9 to account for 10% body fat. What that means is now I have a clear goal that I need to, my ideal physique, for me to achieve my goal, I need to be at 170 pounds at 10% body fat. That is my actual goal. Now, because I have that, anytime I know exactly where I'm going and I know exactly what I need to adjust. So I can adjust as I go. Do I need to recomp? Do I need to lean bulk? Maybe cut, maybe do an actual bulk and whatnot. But it is absolutely essential that you have a clear goal. You decide what it is for yourself. And then once you have decided it, break it down as much as you can so that you know where you are, where you want to go, and then you can draw out that plan of action. Third fitness rule is compound lifts and legs. I really wish that I had, well, I've always done kind of compound lifts, but for the first 2 years of me hitting the gym, I skipped legs. And that's because obviously, look, I have my reasons. I used to train Muay Thai like 3-4 times a week. I used to play soccer twice a week. I used to run and whatnot. So I used to use up my legs a lot. Not that that's enough to build muscle, not at all. But in the sense that I couldn't really afford my legs to be sore. That being said though, I really wish that I had never skipped a leg day. And the reason for that is this, it's probably not what you think. Yes, look, training your legs is important for your proportions because you don't want a big upper body with skinny legs. That's just ugly, of course. But a bigger reason is that if you didn't know, your legs are your biggest muscles. So, by consequence, what happens when you train legs, because it's your biggest muscle, it releases the most amount of growth hormone in your entire body. So it actually helps you build muscle all over a lot faster. For example, let's take two guys. One of them, they both do the same exact upper body workouts, but one of them also trains legs and the other doesn't. The one who trains legs will build more muscle overall in his entire body. He will put on more muscle mass rather than the one who doesn't. Because like I said, training legs really releases a lot of growth hormone all over. Relating that to compound lifts and legs as well, compound lifts, if you don't know what they are, it's basically it's the exercises that train more than one muscle at a time. So those are your bench press, your bent over rows, your pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, dips, weighted dips, your push-ups, squats, deadlifts, all of those. They are compound lifts. That's what we call them in the fitness world. The reason why those are super important is a couple things. A, because they train more than one muscle at a time, it really helps with aesthetic proportions. Because if you're, let's say, for example, just doing single arm lat pull downs, the only muscle that's working is your lat. But when you're doing pull-ups, you're working your core, your upper back, your lats, your biceps, and your forearms a bit too. Like you can probably vouch for this, but the ones who have the actual most like aesthetics, proportions, all of that bodies are the ones who do calisthenics. If you don't know what that is, that's like the bodyweight workouts, pull-ups, push-ups, and whatnot. But you really want to stick to bodyweight exercises, but also compound lifts in general, because A, it helps you, like I said, keep those aesthetic proportions. But what it also does is because it's a compound lift, you're using more than one muscle at a time, it releases the most amount of growth hormone in your body, but it also produces the most testosterone. Testosterone for a man is one of the key things to building muscle. It's one of the key aspects your body needs. The higher your testosterone, the more growth hormone you're going to have, the better your muscle growth is going to be. So compound lifts and legs, keep those in your workout regimens. Do them once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. But do not absolutely skip them. They are essential to build testosterone, which in its turn builds muscle. Fourth step is being lean. Fourth fitness rule is being lean. Why that is super important, again, is a few things. First, when you're lean, you feel better. You look better, obviously, so you feel better. And by consequence, when you feel better, you just do better. This is a law of nature. It's a law of life. It's the same reason why I tell people to take care of their looks. It's because when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. It really is a law of nature. Second thing is being lean, more specifically between 10 and 15% body fat, helps testosterone production. So it optimizes your testosterone, optimizes your hormones, which, like we said, testosterone is one of the main ingredients for growth hormone and muscle growth and to look and feel amazing as a man. So when you're lean, you're just optimizing that. So it really helps. And then the third step, obviously, is your body just looks better when you're lean. Like, you'll see a lot of people think they need to bulk up, but what they don't know is that they actually need to lean. They just actually need to lean down. I can't tell you how many times I've had that people come to me and they're like, yo, you're looking bigger, but I'm actually on a cut. That's because when you're lean, you have less body fat, so your muscles and your veins appear bigger. So you appear bigger even though you're not actually. And now for the last step, the fifth fitness rule, which is, like I said, by far the most important. And it is related to the psychology of training. Also training to failure. They're kind of related. So let me get into that. What I mean by psychology of training is you need to incorporate in your mind that it is not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Training to failure will absolutely produce the most amount of growth. What training to failure means is when you do reps until you physically cannot complete another one. When you literally, like, once you get that weight up, your body literally cannot do another one. Key here, remember, I said body, not your mind, because your mind will always quit before your body does. Training to failure means pushing past your limits, pushing past the pain, the burn, the discomfort, because it's those last 2-3 reps when you're really putting all in, those are the reps that build muscle. How we relate this to the psychology of what I said is, it is very hard to do that alone, and it is very hard to do that consistently. It is very, very hard to go in there and train like that with that intensity every time you're in the gym. But like we said, if it was easy, everyone would do it. The reason why training to failure produces an insane amount of growth is because it is not easy to train at that intensity every single time you're in the gym. But it is by far one of the things that's going to build the most amount of muscle. You're going to see the most amount of growth. Like I said, I really wish I had started training with that intensity. I train with that intensity now, but I really wish I had started that 2.5 years ago when I first started in the gym, because I would look like 10 times, I would have like a lot more muscle mass by now. Those are the 5 fitness rules that I wanted to talk about in this quick video. Your routine, have a clear goal, do compound lifts and legs, be lean, and understand the psychology of training and train to failure. Those are the 5 fitness rules that I wish someone had told me about, or that I knew when I first started out in the gym, because they would have saved me an immense amount of time and effort training the wrong way. Like I said, that's all I have for you for this video. Hopefully this video helped you out. Like I said, I'll leave my Instagram in the description. Give me a follow on there. DM me coach if you want a chance to work one-on-one. DM me guide if you want my free training split blueprint. And yeah, subscribe, leave a comment if you like the video. I'll see you on the next one. Keep your chin up.